Prosecution arresting Darrell Brooks beginning his own defense in his trial. He's accused of driving through the Waukesha Christmas parade last November, killing 6 people, injuring dozens more. Today, Brooks was emotional as he gave his opening statement, and then he began to call witnesses. Joining us more to talk about all of it in a very busy day is attorney Julius Kim from the law group of Kim and Lavoie. We'll get to his opening statement in a second, but earlier, before that, he got a little too cute by half. He objected to a freeze frame of a video taken before the date of the parade, which linked him to the vehicle, and that also opened the door to the whole video being played, and that clearly ID'd him. What did you make of that exchange?
Yeah, it's a common trap that lawyers fall into, quite honestly, and in this particular situation, by questioning about one of the pictures that were shown against him, he opened the door for the state to bring in the rest of this video. And I think that arguably that someone could say that it paints him in a bad light. I think that's why the state didn't initially try to introduce this evidence through the entire video. But he opened the door. The state decided to introduce the rest of the video. It's fair game, and he was kind of upset by that.
Speaking of the state, an emotional DA, Sue offered to Judge Darrell, and I'm quoting now, he challenges the court's authority repeatedly. The court absolutely has the ability to tell him to sit down and be quiet. You haven't done that, and we know why you haven't done that, and we respect that. Explain that to us. What does that mean? What does she mean by we know why you didn't shut him up, and we respect you for that?
I think Sue Opper recognizes, I think we all recognize that Judge Darrell has been doing her best to try and keep this case on the rails and to make sure that this case gets to the jury. And it hasn't been an easy process, quite frankly. And everyone's nerves are frayed at this point. Here we are, we're at the very end of the case now. And I think Sue Opper's nerves are a little frayed at this point as well. So the emotions are starting to come through a little bit here. I think that was Sue Opper, quite honestly, just venting a little bit and sending kind of a message across the aisle to Mr. Brooks that she's kind of sick and tired of it too. But order was finally maintained. It got kind of crazy in court for a while today, but after the lunch break, people calmed down, and I think that we're back on track again.
And you talked about emotion. His opening statement, pretty emotional, went on for about 10, 12 minutes. He tried to paint himself as a bit of a victim, though. How do you think that is going to go with jurors?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the jurors would feel very sympathetic towards him, but I think that he was starting to go on the right path by mentioning, albeit briefly, the notion that this was not intentional, that this was a mistake, and that he's going to present evidence to show that this wasn't an intentional act by driving through the parade. I think that he scored some points with that, just in terms of laying a groundwork for a possible defense here. But it was interesting to see how he navigated this whole notion of talking about himself in the third person without admitting that it was him that was driving the car.
Well, he continues to say, I don't answer to the name Darrell Brooks, and the court is saying, well, actually you do. That's the legal name on all the documents. So, all right, Julius, Kim, these go by too quick. I could ask you 15 more, but we don't have time. Stay with Fox 6 for the latest from the trial. We are streaming it on Fox News Milwaukee page, the YouTube page, the Fox 6 News Milwaukee Facebook page, and the Fox 6 News app and website, fox6now.com.